NFC Championship NBA Finals. And it's the San Antonio Spurs up 1-0 over New Jersey in the best of 7. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler, joined by my partners, as always, Bill Walton, Tom Tolbert. Guys, in thinking about New Jersey on Wednesday night, the consensus is they're going to play better tonight because they couldn't play much worse, Tom.
Well, they need to do two things, Brad. They need to get out and score more in the fast breaks, and they need to make open shots. Look, if they can't do that, Wile Coyote's got a better chance of catching the Roadrunner. They ain't winning this series. They got to get out and go. It's going to be hard because San Antonio knows that's what they want to do. You got 6 eyes on you right there. Parker slides in front. Nice job of cutting them off. And look who's your back line of defense, Tim Duncan. These ones have to go. That's an open jumper. That's a clank. This one's an open jumper. That's a whip. That didn't even hit the rim, so that's not even a clank. And you see right here what they did against Boston, against Detroit. Plus 14, plus 20, only a plus 6. I'm looking at somewhere around a plus 14 to 16 around in that area. If they can't do that, they're not good enough in the half court to beat the Spurs team.
And they can't have a third quarter like they had the other night either, or it's going to be 2-0 in a hurry. As for Greg Popovich, nice luxury to have, Bill, and that you've got the MVP and Tim Duncan, but then you got David Robinson looking more like he's ready for the Belmont Stakes than the Glue Factory.
Brad, how special it is when you have the greatest combination of 7-footers in the history of the game, starting with Tim Duncan, who is simply the best player on the planet today. The dominance, the patience, the efficiency. How do you stop him when he's so well-rounded that he's willing to go away from anything that you bring defensively? And then you've got the mentor, David Robinson, the aging king after so many years, down so many roads, still able to bring it at the start. The two Billers combined in Game 1 for 46 points. 26 boards and 11 rebounds. But the real question remains, will David Robinson be able to sustain this? Because while he still looks like he's indestructible and can't be beat, the numbers this postseason show that David Robinson always comes with a flash of brilliance, and then you get the precipitous drop-off. What will it be from David Robinson? The pressure, unlike what this young man says, still remains squarely on the Spurs.
All right, we're set to heat it up for what should be a pretty cool Game 2.
Cool J, NBA on ABC. Spurs Nets going to war. East Coast, West Coast, chest to chest, man to man, face to face. The fast pace is based on a kid named Jason. The Jersey flurry, but it's San Antonio worried about the vision getting blurry.
You just want to win. That's it, period.
In the first engagement, a battle-tested veteran gave the West the inspiration to win.
Do the math, 10 plus Davis, 14 feet. The Nets want a clash, breaks beyond fast, lightning quick. Alley to Jefferson, smack. Oh, they're gonna love that shot in the barbershop. It's on!
A 21-year-old kid outmaneuvered a 30-year-old one, ending the quick strike abilities of those from the Eastern Front.
Losing is not a good feeling.
Can the Nets beat the Spurs in Texas?
To stop the bleeding, a major offensive must be deployed.
But on the COURT, the MVP is not friendly towards the enemy. Tim Duncan is an interior bomb.
But a not-so-secret weapon has the power to send the enemy home in full-scale retreat.
It's just good to know how to attack these guys.
Spurs Nets going to war. Nets Spurs going to war. It's on. Game 2.
Game 2, the Nets and the Spurs moments away as we check the Bud Light starting lineup. So we go to the PA announcer, Stan Kelly.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Stan Kelly. Welcome to the beautiful SBC Center for tonight's Game 2 of the NBA Finals between the New Jersey Nets and your San Antonio Spurs. Here's the starting lineup for New Jersey. At one forward, 6'9" from Cincinnati, number 6, Kenyon Martin. At the other forward, 6'7" from Arizona, number 24, Richard Jefferson. Starting at one guard, 6'4" from California, number 5, Jason Kidd. At the other guard, 6'5" from Villanova, number 30, Kerry, Kittles. And at center for New Jersey, 7 foot from Stanford, number 35, Jason Collins. Head coach for New Jersey, Byron Scott. confident. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, off your seat and on your feet, here's the starting lineup for your Western Conference champion, your San Antonio Spurs. He starts at 1 forward, 7 foot from Wake Forest University, 21, Tim Duncan. At the other forward, 6'7" from Cal State Fullerton, number 12, Bruce Bowen. At one guard, 6'8" from Oak Hill Academy, number 3, Steven Jackson. The other guard, 6'2", from Terrace, number 9, Tony Parker. And he is the man in the middle. He's the 7'1" center from the U.S. Naval Academy, the Admiral, number 50, David Robinson. Head coach for the Spurs, Greg Popovich.
There's your lineups and your head coaches. We're almost set for game 2. Let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Brad, tonight could be David Robinson's final game in San Antonio, and it would be tough to match what he did in game 1, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 4 blocked shots. In fact, Greg Popovich told me he cannot count on that kind of production out of Robinson on a consistent basis. Throughout this postseason, Robinson has come out fresh and energetic in game 1 of every series, only to fade considerably after that. His minutes have to be monitored. His scoring goes from double figures to below 6 points a game, and his field goal percentage declines dramatically. Watch Robinson's energy early. Popovich told me a block shot or two in the first 8 to 10 minutes could be a good indicator of things to come in what could be Robinson's San Antonio farewell. Now over to Stuart Scott.
Michelle, the New Jersey Nets do not think for a minute that they were worried about what happened in game 1. Richard Jefferson told me, hey, it was simple. 2 things. Their best player shot 11 for 17. Our best player shot 4 for 17. Plus, we had 1 bad quarter. And as for the need to double team Tim Duncan, Jefferson said, look, 6 of his shots were jump shots. It could have gone over 2 people. Plus, he said Duncan had 6 assists. If we had double teamed him, he might have had a dozen. Brad, let's go back to you.
All right, Stu, we're all set. The officials, Bennett Salvatore, Bob Delaney, Dan Crawford's got the ball in hand. There's your starting lineups again. Must-win time for the Nets. Certainly, they're wearing an awful heavy chain around their neck now. They've lost 5 straight games in the finals, dating back to the sweep by the Lakers last year. That's got to be a little bit in their head tonight. Robinson, Collins, game 2 in San Antonio, underway.
Man, they didn't score right off the bat. What's going on
First
here?
time in about 5 games the Nets haven't scored off the tip.
Must have taken care of that one. Oh, had Kittles on the back cut.
Kerry Kittles has been very quiet offensively throughout the playoffs. And a turnover to start things off for New Jersey.
The league's best defense comes through once again. Greg Popovich's message to his squad. Respect the game, respect the opponent. Don't think this thing is over. New Jersey is a very good team coming into this series, having won 10 straight.
They play Duncan straight up. He takes it over Collins and got the roll.
That's almost unfair. He's 7 foot. Well, I guess that's why he's one of the greatest that ever played. You're able to put the ball on the ground, go for a jumper, and just do all the stuff that he does.
The challenge for New Jersey is to get it back in the other end.
Kittles, jumper. Duncan's got his hands on the rebound.
Well, I think one thing to look forward to tonight, or to look at, is in the 3 games they've played so far this year, New Jersey's at 72, 59, and 70 half-court points. They need more than that.
Bowen, who's been shooting lights out during the playoffs from three-point land, makes it 5-0 San Antonio.
Look for Bruce Bowen and Manu Ginobili to be very strong in this game, too. They were not needed in game 1. It's a kind of situation where they have to come through to take the pressure and responsibility off Duncan.
Kenyon Martin jump hook over Robinson, didn't get it. Game 1, New Jersey ran off to 6 straight points before the Spurs came back to tie it at 6. Now it's the Spurs with the early lead at home.
This high pick and roll between Duncan and Parker has proved to be unstoppable.
Duncan on the baseline. Has it poked away twice by Kenyon Martin.
He's pretty good at that.
But that's very dangerous. And with only 5 on the shot clock, Byron Scott has to be very concerned about that reach-in defensive strategy of Kenyon Martin. You pick up cheap fouls that way.
He got a cheap early one on Wednesday night, and it wasn't even defending Duncan. Let's watch with 5 on the clock now. Bowen to inbound, straight to Duncan. He's going to have to take it over Martin, and there's what Bill was just talking about. Kenyon Martin trying to strip the ball from Duncan, and he gets number 1.
Defense against a great star without fouling him. So difficult. Why reach in and try to strip down low? Granted that you're quicker, as Kenyon Martin is, than Tim Duncan, giving up 3 inches, 35, 40 pounds.
That's why you use your feet, right?
Use your feet, and you use your speed in transition and beat him to a spot.
And Duncan clangs one off the front of the iron. He's shooting 68% from the foul line during the playoffs. It was 71% during the regular season. It was a huge drop-off from what he shot a year ago. Neither was close. Still 5-0 the start here in the first couple of minutes for the Spurs.
A lot of ball handling by Kerry. Kittles trying to get Jason Kidd involved closer to the basket.
Kidd, nice move on the baseline, gets it out to Kittles. Kittles on a runner, too strong. Bowen, quick outlet to Jackson, coming down one-on-one with Kidd.
And nowhere to go. Good decision to
and then threw it away.
Great defensive hands, Jason Kidd.
Kidd to Jefferson, and Robinson blocks the shot. So there's the block Michelle Tafoya was talking about a moment ago.
San Antonio blocked 12 shots in game 1. One shy of the NBA record, held by about 6 different teams.
And a whistle and a foul. As Jefferson tried to get open for a shot.
We saw something in the prior sequence that we didn't see a lot of last series. It's Jason Kidd getting to the rim, and even though he didn't score, he kicked it up to Kittles. Kittles penetrated. Now you get the defense moving all over the place.
I am impressed with Tony Parker as a defender. He shut down Jason Kidd as
excuse me, Bill.
A screening foul on Jason Collins underneath the basket.
Yeah, Parker just doesn't let Jason Kidd get his body on him. He knows Kidd's stronger. He uses his feet and quickness to stay in front of him.
I'd like to see Jason Kidd get up in the backcourt, put a little bit more pressure on Tony Parker.
Tony Parker go right by him.
Jackson drives on the baseline. 7-0 San Antonio. Nets want to talk about it right now. Jackson on the baseline with a reverse layup, and the Spurs in front at home, 7-0.
The NBA Finals on ABC, brought to you by Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. Nissan and your Nissan dealer. And American Express, the official card of the NBA.
Spurs leading 7-0. Their role players on a roll already. Bruce Bowen, the outside jumper on the 3, and then Steven Jackson, who drove the baseline with a reverse layup. That's what caused the timeout, and those guys have taken a long time just to get to the NBA. The road well traveled from Port Arthur, Texas to Oak Hill Academy, cut by the Phoenix Suns all over the world. Australia, Venezuela, Dominican Republic. You said you had to check your gun clips at the door in the Dominican Republic if you were a fan. Bowen, out of Cal State, Fullerton, Phoenix. Had to go to France, 2 teams in the CBA, twice with the Miami Heat, bounced all over the basketball globe, and here they are, 2 of the starters and 2 guys that have already contributed in a big way here early tonight.
The long and winding road.
Yeah.
Steven Jackson growing up in Port Arthur, Texas, just down the road, the same town that gave us Janis Joplin.
And Jimmy Johnson, and they both have streets in that city, and Steven has said, I wouldn't mind a boulevard or a center, something named after me. You may be getting it. Kmart inside.
He is great at going left. I've seen that enough now over the past couple weeks. You watch this guy, and when he squares you up, all it takes him is one dribble to get to the rim.
The explosiveness off that two-footed stopper, he just blasts right by the two best defensive big men in the game today.
Before he scored, the Nets had been empty on all 6 of their trips down court. Parker got it. Tony Parker.
Why don't you give the ball to Tim Duncan every single play? He's so efficient. Mike Tirico talked about that in the pregame, the passing, the screening.
Jefferson had it stripped by Jackson. Jason Kidd, they chase him with 6 on the shot clock. Tough pass to Kenyon Martin. Had a lot of zip on it, and Martin couldn't handle it.
Well, San Antonio's doing a better job breaking him down and getting to the rim. That whole series, I don't think anybody with the ball was inside the paint.
You want to throw hard passes as a player to streaking post, and you need to against the league's best defense, a team that has not allowed a finals opponent to score 90 or more points in 6 straight finals games.
Tony Parker, the last trip down, went inside, scored himself. That time, as he did the other night, the little underhand dish to David Robinson, who slammed it on Wednesday night. Tonight, he was fouled before he could.
Well, it's all about penetration right now, and they're getting more of it. They're getting to the rim, and when you get to the rim, you collapse the defense. It gives you options to dish out to your big guy, kick out the shooters, be nice to get a free throw every once in a while.
0 for 3 so far.
Michelle talked about the decline of David Robinson. He looks so perfect, so flawless. This guy's got tons of miles on that body. You come to practice and you're watching me. In the games, he wears the sleeve on that right knee, a deteriorating joint there. In practice, he has to wear a very heavy duty with steel brace on that leg just to protect it.
It's an 8-point lead now. 1 bucket so far for the Nets. Here's Kenyon Martin. 5 on the shot clock. Jump hook's a little too strong, and the Admirals there for the rebound.
And that half-court offense is broke.
It needs a little transmission fluid, at least.
But you're
talking about a defense, San Antonio, that leads the league in points allowed and in field goal percentage for the opponents.
And now Jefferson got a hand in there, and he's trying to run with Kittles, and got it to him. And Kittles missed the layup. That's the kind of start it's been for the Nets. Parker the other way.
Oh, no.
Not that time.
I would have given him, the Russian judge is fixing to give him 3.5 on that one.
What transition defense by Tony Parker.
But remember, the French judges are the ones that are crooked. Martin. He'll try it till he gets it right.
It's just so, I mean, you look at the offense, and they scored that time, but I don't know, stagnation is a word that comes to mind when I watch them go. These guys are dribble drive, get to the middle, collapse the defense, pitch out, pump fake, get to the middle again, and finally someone gets to the rim.
Here's an outside jumper by Jackson, and it goes down. Steven Jackson with 4.
The ability of the great ones like a Duncan and a Robinson to set the tone early and inspire their teammates. The jumpers going down from the perimeter, a great sign for Popovich. 5 for 6 shooting for San Antonio.
Kittles with Bowen on him. Again, down to 5 on the shot clock. Jefferson will try it. No way. Duncan another rebound. His 3rd, and he'll bring it up court.
That shot selection just allows Duncan and Robinson to own the defensive board.
Here's Kenyon Martin one-on-one. Now they do kind of come over with a little bit of a double team, and Martin does a nice job forcing a jump ball.
Tim Duncan doesn't really like that low right box. The weakest part of his offensive game. The most difficult, really, for a right-handed player, unless you have the flawless jump hook a la Hakeem Olajuwon, Kevin McHale, or the sky hook like Jabbar.
Of course, it's all relative. His right box game is better than just about anybody else in the game. It's just not very good compared to his left box game.
Without question.
Ball out to the Spurs. With 5:44 remaining in the first quarter of Game 2, it's San Antonio with already an 8-point lead. The only 4 points for the Nets so far have come off 2 field goals by Kenyon Martin.
But you got time to off the game clock, right?
There's the start. The rest of the team is 0 for 6. Jackson, he'll take another outside jumper. This time Jefferson got a hand in his face. He missed it. Here comes Jason Kidd. Martin blocked by Duncan.
Oh, how about a little mayonnaise with that ball sandwich?
Unlike in game one, the two block shots that have come tonight, one from Robinson, one from Duncan, have both gone out of bounds. Not with anything that the two big guys have done wrong, just because of the nature of the shot attempts. The Spurs have 3 blocks on the evening.
Nets still looking for something in their half-court game. Jason Kidd has yet to score again tonight. Martin. Oh, a tough shot. He's got all 6. He did his job the other night as well. 21 points and 12 rebounds, but he fouled out of the game in trying to be the guy to do most of the work defensively on Tim Duncan.
I like the way he handled himself in the post-game press conferences and the 48 hours ensuing after game 1.
Malik Rose in the lineup for the Spurs as Duncan up and in.
Well, if you're going to come, Jason Kidd's got to get down there quicker and not let him split him, because once he splits that double team, forget about it. That's a layup as it was.
Still an 8-point lead. Still no offense from the Nets except Kenyon. Let's see if Jason Kidd can get on track. That's a good start for him. He knocks down the 3.
The last 2 outside jump shots, they can hit a couple of those. That's going to open up some lanes for him and make it a little less congested and get into the basket.
Cuts the lead to 5 until Tony Parker knocks it right back down at him.
San Antonio's playing so well that New Jersey can only hope to ride it out at this point.
You know, that's the other thing in the open. We said the consensus was the Nets had to play better. They couldn't play much worse. But the Spurs didn't necessarily play great the other night, a lot of people felt. Inside is Jefferson, so finally Jefferson contributes as well. So the last 2 trips, Kidd and Jefferson have scored, and it's a 5-point ball game. 4 minutes remaining first quarter.
Switch off Kenyon Martin on Malik Rose and let Jason Collins guard. See if they come a little early on this one.
And again, he works to the right hand of the baseline, and it's knocked out of bounds by Collins. Manu Ginobili's coming in for the Spurs, and Lucious Harris will check in for New Jersey. And a big round of applause for Bowen as he goes to the bench after hitting that big 3 early.
Shot clock at 6.
Duncan double team that time as Kidd came over. Parker almost knocked it down on the baseline, and it's Harris who just checked in with a rebound. Big possession here to try to close the gap a little bit and slow down the Spurs onslaught, and Kidd got it with the left hand.
Kenyon Martin is doing so many things well. That time just laying off a perfect time, forcing Popovich to take a timeout. What has happened to the Spurs? David Robinson goes to the bench. Somebody punctured the pressure in this building. Just big deflation and exhale.
So the lead was 8, but Jason Kidd got untracked from the outside. Kenyon Martin with a nice feed to the inside. The lead's down to 3. This is ABC Sports, home of the NBA Finals.
Tailspin. Put him in a tailspin right now. Right now, we put him in a tailspin. They don't recover from this. Let's go.
That was David Robinson in the previous timeout when it was an 8-point lead, but they grabbed that joystick and pulled up, did the Nets, and they didn't go in a tailspin. In fact, they pulled out of it, and they've made it a ball game now at 16-13.
Ahmad Rashad in the pregame show was talking about the leadership by example that Popovich gets from David Robinson and Tim Duncan, but Popovich has to be concerned here. His team is leading by 3 points, and they're shooting 70% at home. Kerry Kittles had made that layup. This would be a 1-point ball game and a totally different story.
Jackson will inbound as you look at the field goal story. Rodney Rogers in now for the Nets. Coming out of that timeout. Duncan, they try to double team. He missed the shot.
And we're seeing a different defensive strategy by Byron Scott. Jason Collins, a lot of time on Tim Duncan.
Boy, now it's a 1-point game just like that. Jason Kidd, the bad night is behind him. He's 3 for 3 tonight.
When he gets a goal from the outside, he is literally unstoppable in the half court when he gets that game going.
So the Nets picking up the pace offensively and putting the heat on defensively.
Oh, what a split.
Parker had it knocked away out of bounds. Still San Antonio ball with 7 on the shot clock.
We are seeing a net team now taking on the defiant attitude and posture of their coach, Byron Scott, who rejected all the criticism, who rejected the onslaught from the media about not putting Kenvon Martin or Dikembe Mutombo into that fourth quarter when it fell apart in game one.
Duncan has a look up, knows the shot clock's winding down, rattled out the missed jumper, and now the Nets have an opportunity to lead for the first time tonight. Harris from the outside. Battle for the rebound. Who's going to win it?
Jason Collins working so hard. Just not enough elevation as he was being held down by two Spurs.
Tony Parker off to a 4-point start. Duncan likewise has 4. There's the double team on Duncan. Ginobili wants to go right back to him. And
offensive foul.
Duncan with the foul.
Well, what they're doing is they're not going to come until he puts the ball on the ground. And as soon as he puts it on the ground, boom, get down there and get after him.
Jason Collins, who did not play well in game one, certainly off to a much better start tonight.
Tough matchup for Steven Jackson. Good pass.
Kenyon Martin, and the Nets lead for the first time since the second quarter Wednesday.
Hey, Byron Scott knows all about a team getting blown out in game one of the finals. 1985, he's playing for the Lakers early in his career. The Celtics in the first game of the finals kill the Lakers. Lakers come back, win game 2, and ultimately the championship in the 6th game on the parquet of Boston.
Ginobili almost threw it away. It's an 11-2 run right now for the Nets. See if Duncan can score again. They strip it from him, and it's another turnover.
What hands by Kmart.
Kidd somehow got a pass to Harris. I don't know where that one came from.
A lot of time in the shot clock.
Collins inside, blocked by Duncan. This one blocked to Parker.
That's good job. Defensive trend did this and getting 4 guys back.
And a whistle and a foul.
Tony Parker's the one who's able to get to the hoop every time. We got to start looking at Jason Kidd's defense.
Kenyon Martin picks up the foul.
The question mark coming in. Kmart has 2 fouls, so that's very serious now. And neither one of them have been good fouls. Question coming in was, would Tony Parker be able to defend Jason Kidd? It turned out to be the other way around.
Parker hits a free throw to tie it up. Log on to the NBA store on NBA.com right now to order your official 2003 NBA Finals program. Love it live on NBA.com.
Well, you said it earlier, Bill. I mean, you get a couple strips. You think you can strip every single one. You know, you're going to get some fouls during the course of the game because you're a power forward, using your body, going up for rebounds. If you just tack 2 of those on, which he's already had, that's 2 less you can use playing basketball.
Right now it's Kidd, Jefferson, Collins, Harris, and Rogers on the floor for New Jersey. Kidd, the backdoor pass. Harris got into some traffic.
How about 3 seconds?
How about 10 seconds?
The intimidating presence of Tim Duncan, who had 7 blocks, 1 shy of the NBA record in game 1. Just standing, so patient, so efficient, so dominant. Nothing that the diminutive Nets can do about it.
Spurs leading, but after their 7-for-9 field goal start, they've missed their last 4 shots. And we're under 40 seconds first quarter. Ginobili.
Yeah.
And he walked with it.
Carried it.
At what point does Byron Scott come with Dikembe Mutombo? I mean, give the guy a chance. He was really the only player other than Kenyon Martin that did anything of note.
6 minutes Deke played the other night, and has said in the last couple days, as he has said 2 or 3 times this year, he would like more time.
Nice.
Pass to Harris. Off the glass.
I love that initiation off the high screen. Dallas uses that a lot. Magic used to do that all the time for the Lakers. Jason Kidd incorporating it.
It's about a 1.5 seconds difference on the game clock and shot clock. Speedy Claxton at the point. It's Duncan. Collins is there, so is Kidd waiting for him. Tried to take a fade-away jumper and missed it.
New Jersey's doing a much better job of confusing Tim Duncan tonight.
Yeah.
They're forcing him to step away from the basket. But Duncan will make adjustments. Popovich, P.J. Curtis, they'll pick it out.
Collins up high off the glass. Spurs didn't have a field goal in the final 4:25 of that first quarter. They had the great start. The Nets came back to match them and, in fact, take the lead. And now at the end of one in San Antonio, the Nets on the road with a lead, 19-18. Game 2 of the finals. Nets in front.
Before I looked up, my first year was over. I really didn't even know what had happened, and we had just lost in the NBA Finals. Richard Jefferson, small forward. New Jersey Nets. Last year, I don't think, we all really understood the magnitude of the situation. The media, the fans, just the whole atmosphere. None of us had ever experienced it before. Everything just happened so fast, you didn't really know what was going on.
They know what's going on now. They lead by 1. There's a Texas native, Tommy Lee Jones, a heck of a football player in his day. One of the fine actors in the country. Looking out in front of a sellout crowd at SBC Center. Their team down by 1 as we start the second quarter. Brad Nessler, Bill Walton, Tom Tolbert, Michelle Tafoya, and Stuart Scott along with you. There's the Nets tonight. They started off horribly, but they have really warmed up.
And part of that, Jason Kidd going 3 for 3, starting off hot, and they have 7 more field goal attempts than the San Antonio Spurs. And right there, you only see 1 point in the last 9 possessions. Nice pass.
Ginobili blocked by Rodgers, but fouled.
You've got the second unit in for New Jersey right now. Can they keep it together with Jason Kidd on the bench?
Assistant just told me they were relying a little bit too much on Tim Duncan when it might have been more appropriate to switch sides of the floor. They're happy with their defense, the Spurs, right now, but they got a little stagnant on offense, he said. And the Nets' defensive aggressiveness picked up, and the Spurs were fighting a little bit too much instead of executing what they had been, guys.
Spurs finally get a couple of points. Again, it's from the free throw line, though. Tim Duncan, remember, he started quiet the other night. We said, hey, he's only got 3 shots, and he's made 2 of them. When's he going to come to life? And then he had the huge second half. So we'll see if that happens again tonight as Lucious Harris knocks down his second bucket.
But Tim Duncan in game 1 had 32 points on only 14 shots.
Here's Tim on the baseline, answering the call for us again.
And give the assist to Malik Rose. Nice job of driving the middle. Just moving Mutombo over a little bit so he could sneak in there to Duncan and gave enough room to squeeze out that shot.
5-minute, 3-second field goal drought snapped by that Duncan shot.
Jefferson's got to overpower Bowen here.
Rodney Rodgers, good outside shooter, and he knocked down the 3. The 16th three-pointer of the playoffs for Rodney Rodgers.
The confidence that the Nets are playing with, something that was not there in game 1.
And you saw Jason Kidd and his teammates cheering on the sideline after that shot by Rodgers, but Speedy Claxton comes right back and in a hurry ties it at 24.
Well, they don't believe that they can hit the outside shot. The guards are going under the screens, and when they go under the screens, you got to make believers out of them.
Dikembe Mutombo is in there, and he's got it against Tim Duncan. Mutombo up and under and got it.
That a travel?
Greg Popovich thought so.
The owners for the New Jersey Nets, Lewis and Drew Katz, sitting right next to us here, applauding Dikembe Mutombo's perfect footwork.
Ginobili. Not a perfect pass.
But the presence of Dikembe Mutombo on both ends of the court, intimidating on the defensive end, dominating, punishing him at the
traveling.
I was going to say, I don't think that was dominating on the offensive end, but he got the ball down.
They didn't call it, and it'll show up as a bucket.
That's right.
Bring out the Kevin McHale videos.
Rodgers against Malik Rose. Duncan with another rebound and looking to lead the break.
Uh-oh, look out. Smart move by Duncan, just picking it up. Waiting for the other fellows to come up and get the ball from him.
Popovich wants Duncan to drive it out. He wants Claxton and Parker to get out there and get wide in that situation.
Claxton trying to tie it again. Does. Speedy. Back-to-back buckets. 26-26.
When your big man Tim Duncan is such an effective screener, it opens everything up because you have to honor that screen and stay at home with him.
Lucious Harris for three.
Dikembe.
Rodgers keeps it alive, gets it back to Mutombo with a hook. Got it.
There's no way he could be sitting on the bench all the time.
Well, this is the reason they got him, to go up against the big guys in the West when they do get to the finals.
Kick ball. David Robinson's coming back in. He's been out quite a while. He'll come back in after this timeout. 8 minutes, 57 seconds remaining first half. Dikembe up under, and there's that perfect footwork. And then the jump hook. He's got 4 off the bench, and the Nets lead. Back in San Antonio, reminder, Sunday night is what everybody's already talking about, and certainly they will be. When Barbara Walters sits down, nothing's off limits with Hillary Rodham Clinton for the first time. The former First Lady talks about everything. You'll be talking about this interview, too, when those two get together. Sunday night, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 10 Pacific, 9 Mountain, right here on ABC. Let's check in with Stuart Scott. Stu?
Brad, before the game, Byron Scott told us that Dikembe Mutombo would get more minutes than the 6 he got in Game 1. He didn't score in Game 1, but Byron loved the big block shot he had. As you see now, 2 quick baskets, and in the last time out, he told his team, let's get Dikembe some more touches in the paint. Not known for his offense, but what do you know, Brad? He scored 4 already.
We love it. David Robinson had the big party the other night as one of the elder statesmen, and now it's Deke getting in the act. Ginobili misses a jumper.
Dikembe, a couple of years ago when he played against the Lakers, was putting up huge numbers on the offensive end.
Sets the pick there for Johnson. Anthony's jumper off the mark, and Bowen clears the glass.
I'm surprised the Spurs haven't tried to push the ball a little bit more. I mean, the Nets are a very good half-court defensive team as well, and they're not taking their ability to get up and down the court and get some easy buckets.
Malik Rose continues to play very, very well as Duncan and Parker get a brief rest here, but in just 24 minutes of action, Malik Rose 12 points and 6 rebounds in Game 1.
There's the scoring tonight, the terrible start for the Nets, and then they warmed up, and it's been the opposite for the Spurs. And now they throw it away, and it's going to be Richard Jefferson if he can get to the ball. And missed the shot, and a foul. Going to be on Bowen.
That was anticlimactic. I wanted to see him and David Robinson jump in the air together.
Me too.
He never really got his legs underneath him, though.
And he never got the handle either.
He was having to sprint so fast to even get to the ball.
Doesn't mean I couldn't want it.
So far this quarter, all the scoring for the Nets has come from the bench. Jefferson can change that if he hits this first free throw, and does. Sunday night, we head to New Jersey. It's Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Plus, at halftime, we got a special musical performance by Jewel. And if you're not at home, you can listen to the game on ESPN Radio. Game 3, Sunday night. We'll all be there. Hope you join us live at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on ABC. Your home for the NBA Finals.
That was the first free throw attempt by the New Jersey Nets in the entire game. Showing once again about the incredible dominance of the basket area by Robinson and Duncan.
Jefferson got them both, and the three-point lead's the biggest tonight so far for the Nets.
And Robinson and Mutombo are getting into it in the transition game.
Oh, that's old school right there.
Robinson, nice move inside.
And he took him to school.
Harris rips the outside jumper, and Lucious has 6.
You know what I love about him? He comes off the bench, but when he comes off the bench, he thinks he's a starter. He thinks he's the best guy out there. That's the confidence he has in his game, and it shows.
So often in the half-court set, Lucious Harris will become the go-to guy for the Nets.
He did start 25 games this year, and he's their leading scorer when he does come off the bench.
David Robinson is fired up out there. He's pushing guys, he's hitting guys, he's barking at Mutombo.
Oh, now Rodgers and Rose getting into it. It's getting physical. Harris, another.
Greg Popovich telling us before the game that he expected an incredibly physical game tonight, and the Spurs are getting it.
So the bench for the Nets with 15. And now a blocking foul on Rodney Rodgers, and that is 3 on Rodgers. But the guy they call Sweet Lou, Lucious Harris, ripping it.
I'm sorry, Brad. He just comes in looking to have an impact on the game. He's going to come in, he's going to look to score, he's going to look to shoot, and he's one of those guys that you don't worry about him if he misses his first two. He forgets about him, and he's right on to the third shot.
In a rather dismal performance the other night, he was a bright spot. He had 15 points, mostly in the second half. Rose trying to take one over Kenyon Martin and missed it.
And Mutombo continues to play very well.
Trying to lob it inside of Martin, and that's turn it over.
Where is Jason Kidd? How long has he been sitting out?
Speedy Claxton got mugged on his way to the hoop.
Well, if they keep playing like this, that's okay. They've been extending the lead. Harris and Johnson have been doing a nice job out there.
Then Duncan comes back in, and now for the first time in quite a while, he and David Robinson will be on the floor together. At the free throw line, Speedy Claxton, and he's done a nice job off the bench with a couple of field goals. Five for Claxton. Number one draft choice of the 76ers a couple of years ago, and his first year missed the entire season with an injury, so actually was classified as a rookie last year with Speedy. And when he came here, Tim Duncan welcomed him, and then the same day phoned Tony Parker and said, "Tony, don't worry, you're still our point guard." So he played a little bit both ways there.
You have to take care of the point guard.
Oh. David Robinson trying to swat that in.
Steven Jackson switched up between shooting and passing about 3 times while he was in the air.
Got to punish him if you're Richard Jefferson here.
Jefferson stopped in the lane, turns it over, and then Bowen turns it right back with a traveler.
The defensive strategy for the Spurs is to keep Steven Jackson on Richard Jefferson to try to negate Jefferson's incredible athleticism. But when you get Bruce Bowen on you, who Jefferson really towers over, you have got to take him to school down low.
Jason Kidd's back in there. He wants the ball in his hands, and he has 7 points as he hit his first 3 shots. 6 minutes and change remaining, second quarter. Let's see if Kidd's still hot. That one rolled around and out, and Duncan with a rebound. Claxton right back to Duncan. Good ball movement by the Spurs.
Nice.
Oh! Duncan trying to throw it over Mutombo. Dan Crawford, as Mutombo went over to him, said, "Please, Dikembe, back up." A timeout with 5 minutes and 49 seconds remaining in the half. Duncan up. Mutombo with a foul. Duncan will be at the free throw line when we come back. Second quarter, game 2. Nets lead the Spurs 34-29.
The NBA Finals on ABC, brought to you by Warner Brothers' new motion picture Terminator 3 and AIG for insurance, loans, and retirement. AIG, we know money.
A couple years ago, I lost my brother and my niece in the same summer, a month apart. Every game, I write their initials on my shoes. Lucious Harris, guard, New Jersey Nets. It was a tough time with me and my family. I play hard. I look at my shoes all the time. Those two people are probably the most that I'm playing for other than myself.
And his brother and his niece probably looking down, smiling at what Lucious has done as you look at the shoes that he was talking about, and he has done a beautiful job off the bench tonight with 8 points.
10 years in the NBA, had some early success with Dallas, and now for the last 6 years in New Jersey, and just, you know, one of those guys you don't hear a lot about, but goes out there, consistently gives a game effort every time, and knows how to play basketball, and has the belief in himself that when he goes out there, he can compete with anybody.
Lucious Harris, an outstanding collegiate basketball player at Long Beach State, played in the same conference as Bruce Bowen and Brian Russell, late at the Utah Jazz and now the Washington Wizards.
Tim Duncan having a terrible time at the free throw line. He's 0 for 4, and he missed those 2. An opportunity to close the 5-point lead goes by the boards, or by the front of the rim, I should say. Jefferson puts a shoulder into Jackson and knocked down the jumper.
And that's why they've named him to the U.S. national team. The unlimited potential of the second-year star, Richard Jefferson.
So the lead for the Nets swells to 7 points.
too much ball handling. The movement that was there early in the first quarter, they seem to come by the wayside.
Duncan, a little bit short, but got it back and made sure. Five minutes remaining in the second quarter, 36-31. Nets by 5.
They're just backing off Kenyon Martin at the perimeter. He's got to pull that trigger.
Harris has had the hot hand. Bowen comes over to pick him up. Kenyon Martin over Tim Duncan, too strong.
Those are the hardest ones to gauge, too. When you're into their boxing out, it doesn't hit any rim. You're expecting it to hit rim.
Nice repost.
Duncan with Mutombo on his hip. Nice feed underneath. Robinson's fouled by Martin. And that is 3 on Kenyon Martin. That's where the Nets ran into trouble the other night.
Duncan's vision, the inability of Kenyon Martin to maintain contact, the lack of preparation on the defensive end before your man ever receives the ball. The Spurs just capitalizing on mental breakdowns by the Nets.
So there goes Kenyon Martin for the next 4:27 or more. David Robinson at the free throw line. Finally, one falls in for the Spurs.
He's saying, whew, that's kind of nice, actually. You know when you get 4 bounces, this is the foul trouble right there. Rodgers 3, Martin 3. Anything more than 4 bounces, just complete luck.
And that one he just knocks right in. David Robinson, 4 in the quarter, 5 for the game. The lead, though, is still New Jersey's in game 2 here. They need this one. They can't go back to the Meadowlands down 2-0. They've got a 3-point lead with 4 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the quarter. And they've got Jason Kidd, who has warmed up on this second game after the terrible performance on Wednesday.
It's about time. Jason Kidd in the 2 games prior played in this building with 8 for 36 prior to tonight. He looks a lot more confident tonight.
He said he was ready to go back to the Alamo Zone. He said, I played twice in this building. I haven't hit the side of the barn yet. But tonight he has.
He's coming off knowing he's got to shoot the ball. Generally, a player like Jason Kidd, and there's not too many like him, is always coming off thinking about passing and setting everybody else up, and the shot is of last resort. Cannot be the case if they're going to be successful here.
Parker up tight on Jason Kidd. Kidd trying to work around him, and Parker won't let him go. He'll take the shot. Mutombo and Robinson battle. Harris comes out of the pile with it.
Mutombo just never stops fighting for that ball.
Sets the pick for Kidd. Harris leaves it for Jefferson.
A lot of time.
Kidd outside, blocks en route, and up and in. Jason Collins' first basket, and the lead is 7, and that is the biggest of the series so far for New Jersey.
Fans getting very uneasy here.
Duncan short with his free throw, short with the outside jumper. Kidd trying to save it going down.
Great hustle.
And Kidd's a little bit shaken up, slow to get up anyway. He hit the deck pretty hard trying to dive as he lost his balance trying to lead the break.
I think he's more embarrassed than anything.
Could be.
As good and tough as he is. Just lost his balance, got his head a little bit too far out over the midpoint between his 2 feet.
Still trying to get a pass by swatting it, couldn't quite do it. Still, the Nets in front by 7.
Jason Kidd and Kenyon Martin have combined for 2 points in this quarter, yet the Nets led by 1 after 1, lead by 7 now. Mike Tirico to remind you that the Verizon Wireless halftime report is coming up, and we'll visit with Jimmy Kimmel, the host of Jimmy Kimmel Live, for his unique look at the finals. But Coach Paul Silas of the Cleveland Cavaliers and Sean Elliott join us. Give me a headline thought from the first half so far.
Well, Mutombo's presence, I think, has been the difference. I thought they would have to get out and run in the open court. They're playing the half court, and they are executing their offense. I think that is a basic difference.
Well, Mutombo's paying big dividends right now. They're beating the Spurs to every rebound, loose ball. The Nets are here.
All right, more from these guys coming up at halftime. Back down to Brad, Bill, and Todd.
All right, fellas, see it about 2:53. Jason Kidd back out there after the timeout. There was a little bit of concern whether or not he had injured himself on that spill he took in turning the ball over. The Spurs with the ball, but trailing by 7. Duncan and Tim Duncan's just not what he was the other night, at least not yet. Ginobili gets to the loose ball.
Jason Kidd, one of the most durable players of this generation. Richard Jefferson all over the boards.
Tips it to Harris, and now Kidd looks to Byron Scott as they walk it up.
What has happened to the Spurs offense? Yikes.
Good show by Duncan.
And the foul is on Tony Parker. This was Jason Kidd when he went down before that timeout. It kind of looked like his right wrist when you see it on the replay, and yet he turned over, went to the bench, came back out. As Bill said, as tough a cookie as you're going to find. He was grimacing, though, after the fall, and his wife, Jemana, couldn't bear to look, and then saw him get up, said, well, he's all right. His shot was a little bit off, though, and Ginobili with a rebound.
Well, the Spurs right now, the first part of the first quarter, they were moving the ball. They were look, no one's cutting, no one's moving. They have They have 4 assists as a team right now. 4. That's pathetic. They have 4 assists with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter.
And Tony Parker missed everything. That's the 5th straight missed shot by the Spurs. We're under 2 minutes in the quarter. 40-33 Nets.
Well, why are you playing Tim Duncan on the low right box? Come to his strength.
Jefferson cut off by Jackson. Mutombo with a jumper outside as the shot clock was winding down. He almost got it.
He would have officially been on fire if he'd have made that one. You look right there, 4 assists, 10 turnover. That's not even an assist-to-turnover ratio. That's a turnover-to-assist ratio, and those aren't good.
They had 10 in the first half the other night as well. Ginobili trying to lean in to draw a foul. Doesn't get the call. The fans don't like it.
Great defensive stand by Mutombo.
Jefferson trying to work the baseline. Foul by Harris.
Setting the screen. He's shaking his head here. Bob Delaney right on top of the call.
Well, guys, we talked about the Nets having to get out in the open court. They haven't really done that so far this game, but their defense has been super.
Spurs need somebody to put it in the hole. Maybe it's one of the other elder statesmen. Here comes Steve Kerr, and here comes Kevin Willis. Here's Kerr. Just missed. He had 4 big threes to seal the deal against Dallas, but he missed that outside jumper that could have cut the lead to 5.
Well, you're talking about a guy.
But what a tough situation. I mean, he's in the game for 2 seconds, and he's got to jack up a shot because he's wide open.
Well, he's a shooter. He knows he's going to catch it. He's going to shoot it. I mean, this guy has won 4 championships, the all-time leader in three-point field goal percentage in NBA history. I'll take my chance with a guy like that.
Duncan cut off by Jason Kidd. Willis blocked by Mutombo. Kidd the dish to Kittles, and he's fouled by Kerr.
Dikembe Mutombo is everywhere. Net fans around the world could only say, why has this guy been sitting on the bench?
There's Net fans around the world?
They're everywhere.
Mutombo with Willis going up, blocks the shot.
What arms, what timing, what patience.
That led to the break and the foul on Kittles as he goes to the free throw line. Kittles scoreless so far. Dikembe with a little finger wave. Oh, boy.
Has there been a shot blocker in the history of the game that has allowed guys to get closer and deeper to the hole, and still Mutombo able to poke that ball away? What a teacher he had at the collegiate level in John Thompson, the Hall of Famer.
Now the lead is 41-33. Where's the offense going to come from San Antonio? That'll help. Tony Parker, who had 6 early, 8 now with the final 30 seconds at hand.
That was a tough shot, but that was a 2-for-1 shot right there, so they get the ball back, get the last opportunity to have.
That ended a field goal drought of 4:35. Remember, they had a 5-minute plus one earlier, so the Spurs have had the drought troubles that the Nets had on Wednesday night. Kidd trying to back in on Parker, takes the jumper. Willis the rebound. Still time for the Spurs.
How is that not a traveling violation on Kevin Willis?
Final seconds. Duncan has a look. Missed the shot, though. Had a good opening. Couldn't hit it from the outside. So we were tied at 42 at halftime on Wednesday night. And at halftime now, the Nets have 41, but they also have a 6-point lead. 41-35, a great comeback after San Antonio had run out to an 8-point lead. Now it's a 6-point lead, and Dikembe Mutombo's part of that. He's with Stu Scott.
Dikembe, you had 6 minutes and no points in game one. How do you come out so effectively after not playing hardly any in the playoffs?
My coaches have asked me just to be prepared. I stay prepared all the time, so I just came to help my team win.
You've got the energy of a 21-year-old. When you had what you thought was a clean block, you walked over and did the finger point at the crowd. Is that just natural?
It's just natural. I'm not doing that to express nobody. I used to do it, and I was stopped from doing it. I'm just having fun right now.
You got the win to go 12, 15 more minutes in second half?
Yes, definitely. We don't want to leave San Antonio without win right now.
4 points, 3 rebounds in the first half. Good luck in the second half, Dikembe. Let's go back to Brad.
4-time Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA with a big first half for the Nets to help them lead by 6. The Verizon Wireless halftime report is coming up next. Mike Tirico and the gang will be along. Coach Silas, Sean Elliott, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and a lot more. The Spurs had the early advantage, but the Nets came back. Byron Scott said we didn't play our game Wednesday. We'll play it tonight. So far, through 2 quarters, they have. Nets in game 2 at the break, leading 41-35.
This is the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report.
When the Nets fell behind 10-2, I thought it was going to be a very short series. But a quick change for the Nets. They outscore San Antonio 39-25 the rest of the half. They lead by 6 at the break. We welcome you to the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report here live from the SBC Center. Mike Tirico, joined by the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers and 3-time NBA champions player Paul Silas, and of course our colleague Sean Elliott. Well, Dikembe Mutombo had 4 points the entire playoffs. He had 4 points alone in that second quarter. Coach, we talked about his defensive impact on the game, but he had a big offensive impact in that first half.
He really did. We talked about his defensive play and his rebounding, shot blocking ability. But what we did say is anything we got from him offensively, the Nets that is, we're going to help him. He goes the up and under move, and now the little baby hook that he puts in. Collins did not score a basket the first quarter. He gave him 4 points the second quarter, which really helped them to get this lead.
So there's a little bit of an advantage because the Nets, who fast break well, as they showed you at the top of the game, only 5 fast break points, yet they lead. They're doing a good job on Tim Duncan, 4 of 11 from the field.
Yeah, they really stepped up to this challenge with Tim Duncan. They are swarming. Every time you catch the ball in the block, they're all over Tim Duncan. They're playing physical, hard-nosed basketball. Watch Kenyon Martin with these strong hands. He's trying to rip this ball away from Tim Duncan. Watch Collins here. He's bodying up. Kenyon Martin's swarming around that shot. The Nets come down with the rebound. There's Collins again, giving up his body. 3 or 4 blue jerseys around Tim Duncan, and you see him get a little frustrated there. The New Jersey Nets have come with the game plan. They're playing hard, physical defense.
Well, you guys called for it. You had to be physical and show that you wanted to go back all square. Remember, the next 3 games are in New Jersey. 15th time in 16 NBA playoff games this year. The Nets are tied or lead at the half. Jason Kidd with a good hoop inside. Jimmy Kimmel coming up when we come back.
This halftime report is presented by Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Nets trying to go home with a series even. They lead by 6. For more on the Nets, co-10 of the Devils, checking with our Stanley Cup crew, John Saunders, Barry Melrose, and Chris Berman.
Mike, you've got one half of the New Jersey twosome with the Nets there. The New Jersey Devils now with a 3-2 lead heading into Saturday's game number 6. 9 goals in game 5. I don't expect we'll see that.
Well, we better not, and I don't expect we'll see it either because I think Jaguar's got to be the go-to guy. I think he's the guy that can win the Conn Smythe even if they lose this series, but he's been their best player all playoffs long, beat the Detroit Red Wings, beat the Dallas Stars, gave up 1 goal against the Minnesota Wild. They're looking for a guy to lead them. It's got to be Jaguar.
On the other side of the coin, though, New Jersey now on the verge, 1 game away of winning their 3rd Stanley Cup in 9 seasons. In this day and age, that makes you a dynasty.
But remember this, 2 years ago they had a 3-2 series lead against Colorado and lost the series. Game number 6, Saturday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Mike, back to you.
Thank you, John. Part of a big weekend. We also have PGA Tour golf on ABC. Now, every night after your late local news and Nightline, it's Jimmy Kimmel Live. And if you know Jimmy, you know he's a big sports fan. Here's his view on the NBA Finals and more.
What a first half. We haven't had this kind of excitement at ABC since Two Guys, a Girl, in a Pizza Place. All right, let's get to the important stuff. I think most everyone agrees that David Stern is the best commissioner in sports, but obviously he's not going to last forever. Some might say he's losing his grip already. You think David Stern in his prime would let someone like LeBron James go to Cleveland? For that matter, how in the world did the Nets and the Spurs wind up in the finals? It's time to start thinking about the future. When Commissioner Stern does retire, I'd like to nominate someone as his replacement. Me. When I'm the commissioner of the league, thank you. Here are some of the changes that are going to be made. First of all, the coaches. When I take over, all coaches will be required to wear uniforms, just like baseball managers. Look, there you go. Looks great on Jeff Van Gundy. And can you imagine a 300-pound Don Nelson squeezed into a tight pair of shorts and a tank top? I can. Hey, Nelly, it's getting hot in here. You know the rest, baby. Number 2, free throws. I don't particularly like the idea of free throws in the first place, but what I really have a problem with is this. There's a free throw. Guy misses. Teammates go over and congratulate him anyway. What is that? You don't slap hands for missing a free throw. You slap faces. You know what I call it when people get the same reward whether they do a good job or not? I'll tell you what I call it. Communism. And this commissioner will not stand for it. Thank you. Oh, speaking of free throws, you have to bring up Shaq. We all know Shaq has his problems at the free throw line. They're well documented. My plan is thus. Every time Shaq misses more than 6 consecutive free throws, he's forced to eat the basketball. In 24 seconds or less, he has to consume the entire thing. Next up, Steve Nash. Now, Steve Nash is a great player, but under my rule, he would have to get a haircut at least twice a month. He's starting to look way too much like the kid from the Bad News Bears. I keep expecting him to smoke during timeouts. Also, all technical foul shots under my leadership would be taken by the team mascot. Final minute, scores tied, coach gets heated up and thrown out of the game. Who do you want to see taking the big free throw? Stephon Marbury or the Phoenix Suns gorilla? I vote gorilla. I think we all vote gorilla. When I take over for David Stern, my decisions will be random, impulsive, vindictive, and completely unpredictable. For instance, there will be none of this. Yeah. All behavior I deem stupid will be punished with either 5 free throws for the other team or death. And finally, on a serious note, if I may, when I am commissioner of the NBA, any player drafted out of high school will not be allowed to sign endorsement deals that exceed the value of their actual high school. So to the 29 NBA owners watching this, you know how to get a hold of me. Watch your back, David Stern. There's a new sheriff in town. I'll be here tonight after Nightline with Kelly Osbourne, Cole Hauser, and my deputy method man. And I am proud as Punch to be your new commissioner. Back to you guys, wherever you may be.
I don't think Shaq's going to be on with Jimmy anytime soon after that. Hey, should we see you in a Cavs uniform like Jimmy suggested?
No, I mean, you saw Don Nelson. I'd be worse. There's no way.
Coach, thanks for being with us. Sean Elliott, Coach, and I, thank you for watching the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report. But Dikembe Mutombo needed halftime to catch his breath. He'll be back on the floor in the second half. So will Brad, Bill, Tom, Michelle, and Stu. They're coming up after this.
Back at halftime, Brad Nessler, Bill Walton, tops over. It's 41-35, and I guess one of the biggest stories is a guy that played so well Wednesday night, the MVP, Tim Duncan, isn't playing like an MVP right now.
Brad, in a game where emotion plays such a huge role, the San Antonio Spurs have come and fallen flat on their faces. Tim Duncan, David Robinson, the bench could not get it done here. after a terrific start. San Antonio thought this was going to be easy. Well, it's time to rethink that as they were outshot, they were out-rebounded, they were out-hustled. They stopped playing basketball. But remember, this is exactly where the Spurs were in Game 1.
Well, I think what happened in the second quarter was the defense took over. I mean, this is the team, the San Antonio Spurs, that started out 7 for 14. Mutombo comes in and forces them to shoot 6 for 22 in the second quarter and give it up for Lucious, who came off the bench, hit some big shots along with Jason Kidd hitting from the perimeter, which opened some stuff up for you on the interior. That being said, they only scored 41 points in the first half.
SBC Center starting to rock. They know they've got to get their Spurs back into this third quarter. The third quarter was the big problem for the Nets on Wednesday. Robinson trying to spin it in on the baseline, and the Admiral goes down.
Get down on the ground, please.
Let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
I spoke with Greg Popovich at halftime, asked him about his biggest concern, and he said, quote, sloppy play, unfocused, inconsequential play, no respect for the opponent. We're acting like this is over. 4 of my top guys are playing like it's summer league. I've never been so disappointed in all my life. Brad?
Wow, that says a bunch.
Now we're talking.
Let's see if they get inspired when we come back. Timeouts in San Antonio. The Spurs tonight shot out of the gate, led 7-0, and they have really struggled since. They trail 41-35 as we check in with Stuart Scott. Stu?
Brad, at halftime, Byron Scott told his team that they didn't do anything more than what they did in Game 1. He said the difference was in Game 1, the Spurs kicked it up another level in the second half. He said we didn't match it. He said we got to kick it up another level and we got to do it quickly. He said, quote, I want to take this lead from 6 to 16 and I want to do it quickly. Brad?
We'll see if they can. The Spurs obviously looking for some offenses. The fouls on Jefferson.
The defensive lineup for Byron Scott. Jason Collins on Tim Duncan trying to protect Kenyon Martin, who's on David Robinson. Kmart with 3 fouls.
Here is Duncan against Collins. He and Parker play catch. Back to Parker on the baseline. Jackson's wide open outside the 3. Got it. And that cuts it to 3.
That's how they started the second half of last game. Hitting a couple three-pointers, getting the crowd into it.
They also started it with a zone defense that completely befuddled the Nets. The Nets have spent the last 48 hours working on their zone offense.
Now a chance of defense. Kidd trying to spin it. Got it back. And now he'll take the outside jumper and buries it. Jason's got 11.
He dribbled out, looked around, said, oh, where's
nobody's on me. Jackson wanted to take that one and then was pushed by Jefferson.
Careless fouls by New Jersey. And when you're Richard Jefferson, Kenyon Martin, Rodney Rogers, you want to make your fouls count. You want to hammer somebody. Don't just get faked out of position. You have to come back and nudge them and think you're going to not get called for. It's the finals. Come on.
You looked in from atop of the sold-out SBC Center as David Robinson goes inside.
That's what we talked about earlier right there. The 24 assists in Game 1, 5-6 tonight. And they just got to start moving the ball and trusting their teammates, switching sides, dribble penetration, collapse the defense. The second quarter, too much standing around, not enough ball movement, but give the Nets some credit.
Kenyon Martin with a left hand.
You cannot let it go left.
He's just going right at Tim Duncan. That's how good this young player is. Kenyon Martin, the 3rd player in the draft, #1 overall. Transition.
Kidd from the stripe runs right back to get the ball. Knew exactly where it was going. He knew it wasn't going in the net.
Well, when you shoot it, you know where it's going.
Jefferson trying to fade away. Robinson blocks that. Martin deep shot. And it's Tony Parker with the rebound.
If you get a guy leaning up like that, perfect time to execute a give and go.
That's a tough pass. Jackson trying to get it out in front of Duncan. And now the Spurs are saying, wait a minute. It's Nets ball.
And Bennett Salvatore would hear none of it. Never seen David Robinson that animated.
He still has that look of disbelief on his face.
Nets really need something out of Kerry Kittles here.
There he is, cutting through the lane. Bowen got a hand on the ball, though.
Well, if they don't get it from Kerry Kittles, Byron Scott will not hesitate to go to Lucious Harris as they did in the first half.
No doubt.
Why is there a full reset of the shot clock here?
Didn't appear to be a change of possession there.
They settle at 10.
And 9:01 remaining third quarter. 45-40. Nets in front. Martin looking for some help. Duncan on him. He'll take the shot off the glass. Kidd out to Kittles. And Kittles can't find it.
Well, it's just a good old-fashioned clank fest right now.
Kittles has gone 31 minutes without a field goal. Here's about to break that, I think. Kittles throws it down. And
gets
it's
it right
a
back.
7-point lead and almost got it back.
Careless ball handling. Michelle Tafoya was talking about the tirade from Greg Popovich. That needs to keep going.
He's simmering inside right now, you can tell. San Antonio, 12 turnovers. You don't want twice as many turnovers as you have assists ever.
Well, so many of the turnovers have been of omission. Guys just standing around doing nothing.
Jackson almost made it another turnover and did.
Jason Collins, the progress from game 1 to game 2 has been remarkable for this second-year player out of Stanford.
Well, Steven Jackson right now is just forcing way too much, dribbling too much. That's his 5th turnover of the game. He's just got to settle down, let it come to him.
Martin back to Kidd. He's open, trying to bank it home. Robinson with a rebound. Spurs have turned it over their last 3 times down court. Let's see if they get a shot. It'll be Tony Parker for 3. In and out.
Collins again. He's everywhere.
Nets try to even the series, and they have led for a good portion of this game that has 7:35 to go in the third quarter. Kidd on a fadeaway from the line. Ball loose to Bowen.
Well, these teams are having more trouble scoring than the high school nerd. But something different this time down, like a bucket.
Collins picks up the foul. Spurs had stretches in the second quarter and the first quarter of no field goals. One was 4.5, one was over 5, and they're in the middle of another 3-minute one right here.
But the story of David Robinson unable to produce a series and games go on is coming true once again tonight.
Duncan, there's some producing.
Good down, TD.
10 for Duncan. 5-point game with under 7 to go third quarter. Kittles trying to get around a Collins pick. 8 on the shot clock. Jefferson, tough jumper outside, and Bowen's all over the rebound.
Long rebound starting.
Got him. Good bank pass.
Duncan again.
The presence of mind of Tim Duncan to realize that he had no chance in the first play, forcing Byron Scott to take a timeout now as Tim Duncan coming to the floor.
The lead got up to 7 at 47-40. But it was Tim Duncan, as he did on Wednesday, showing why he's the 2-time MVP. 2 big buckets, and it's 47-44.
The NBA Finals on ABC, brought to you by Too Fast, Too Furious. How fast do you like it? Now in theaters. Expedia.com. Don't just travel, travel right. And Taco Bell. Think outside the box.
We're in game 2 in the NBA, but the Stanley Cup Finals goes to Game 6 on ABC after the Devils' offensive explosion in Game 5. They're a win away from raising the cup. Devils at Anaheim against the Mighty Ducks. Game 6 tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, right here on ABC Sports Championship Television. Our Miller Lite storyline so far in this game, Jason Kidd having a much better night. Likewise, Kenyon Martin in double figures. The bench has been sensational, especially the first half, led by Lucious Harris. Tim Duncan just starting to warm up now after kind of a slow first half. It is 47-44 with 6:23 remaining in the third quarter.
And now out of the timeout, the zone defense. How will the Nets attack it?
9 of the last 10, Kerry Kittles. He's got 2 field goals here in the third.
That's how you beat a zone right there. Instead of just sitting around the perimeter and shooting, Kerry Kittles getting to the soft underbelly of the zone, the middle.
Trying to pick and roll. Duncan didn't roll, and Martin rolls down court. Up and didn't get it, but he's fouled.
13 turnovers for the San Antonio Spurs. Greg Popovich has got to be pulling his hair out over there. So casual, so careless. What is going on out here? Such a great team, playing with so little respect for the opponent, for the game itself. The message of Greg Popovich as the New Jersey Nets celebrating Dikembe Mutombo. Can't believe that ball didn't trickle down.
Kenyon Martin, 11 points for the ball game. Last year is when he really had his coming out party, averaged 22.5 last year in the playoffs, and despite the fact the Nets were swept by the Lakers in that Game 4, he had his career high of 35.
And 11 boards in that game, and he went right to work afterwards, realizing, as Richard Jefferson told us, that, look, you get to this NBA Finals level, you don't want to leave anything on the table.
There's the Spurs turnover troubles continuing this quarter. Collins on Duncan. Bowen trying to go back to Duncan, and it's going to be another turnover.
14 on the night.
And counting.
We might want to leave that graphic in the corner and just keep rolling it.
Too quick. Sometimes when you struggle mentally, you just get too quick, try to get by guys too quick, and your thought process needs to slow down.
Here's Jason Kidd getting by everybody and using the glass.
Well, you got Kenyon Martin running the floor. You got Jason Kidd hitting very tough shots. Kerry Kittles coming alive. Great signs for New Jersey.
Biggest lead of the night, biggest lead of the series for New Jersey. Up 9, just over 5 remaining third quarter. Tough catch by Robinson, and he's fouled. Jason Kidd raising his hand for the foul. Watch this shot by Kidd as he penetrates and then leans back a little bit off the glass over Robinson.
A tough angle.
What kind of shots Jason Kidd practices?
Robinson 7 points tonight.
Doink.
Oh, that wasn't good. Tune in to NBA TV following each finals game for complete live post-game coverage, including press conferences, interviews, and analysis. Place to turn for around-the-clock coverage of the finals is NBA TV. David much smoother on that one. 8 points, but the free throw troubles that have haunted the Spurs all year added to the turnover woes that they have tonight, and they find themselves down by 8.
I think Jason Kidd has to punish Parker down here.
Oh, got that to go in. Or did Martin get a hand on it?
Well, if it was degree of difficulty, the last 2 shots would have added up to about, I don't know, 8.
6 this quarter, 15 for the game for Jason Kidd. The crowd quieting here. Ginobili misses a 3. Kittles and Kidd run with Martin. Kenyon Martin, that was halfway in and came back out.
Kidd's got his hands on every ball.
Kittles for 3. Got it!
This is a clinic for the Nets.
58-45. San Antonio's got to talk about it.
And the Cats, as Lewis and Drew up off their feet, airborne. An unbelievable performance by New Jersey.
An 11-1 run by the Nets. Jason Kidd's had a great quarter. This one, as Tom said, degree of difficulty pretty high. Still went in. And then Kenyon Martin kicks it out to Kerry Kittles. We've been looking for his offense, and he's produced 7 points in this quarter, 8 in the game. And the guys on the bench are going, we're up 13. 58-45 with 4:11 remaining in the third quarter. A fired-up Nets team looking a lot different than they did on Wednesday.
This is the team that we saw during the Eastern Conference run to glory.
Yep.
Playing with such confidence, such passionate commitment to the team game, quick to the loose balls, the long rebounds. Jason Kidd making unbelievable plays time and time again. What a run.
In the last 2:22. And Rod Thorne looking on. Their president and general manager, he said after Wednesday night game, no time to panic. We'll come back and play a lot better, and they have.
Popovich comes with Malik Rose, and the indecision of the Spurs in the perimeter has caused another turnover, yet that time a 3-second violation.
16 turnovers on the night.
Well, the Nets are active with their feet. They're active with their hands. They're not getting out on the break much, but they're doing it defensively. They just been magnificent tonight.
Kidd leaves it for Collins.
They keep getting better every possession. You can just see them growing, their muscles filled with blood. They're out thinking the Spurs.
They're out for blood right now. Rose, got it. Malik Rose, that is his first points of the night.
Awfully slow in coming for Malik Rose.
There you see the 16 turnovers and only 7 assists night for San Antonio. Kidd got it out to Collins somehow. I don't know how.
Jason Kidd is putting on a performance reminiscent of what we saw in Game 3 against Detroit.
Ginobili gets it back to Rose.
Danny Crawford called it an offensive foul. And a technical foul called by Bob Delaney.
The foul is on Ginobili, or was, for running over the defender on that pick and roll. And the technical is on Collins.
Very rarely do you see a power forward go to the line and shoot a technical.
He has become a great free throw shooter, Malik Rose. Byron Scott, proud, poised, defiant, in the face of severe criticism for his decisions in Game 1.
There was the foul on Ginobili.
Just not sure what the technical foul was about.
There you see it called. It's sort of away from the action. 14-point lead, New Jersey with the ball with 3 minutes, 10 seconds remaining third quarter.
Parker's in trouble against Kidd now.
Kidd got himself in a little bit of trouble that time, but Martin picks up the loose ball. Offensive foul on Kenyon Martin, and he has 4.
And not a single one of the fouls have been the kind of foul you want to pick up.
Oh, Malik Rose slid over to his left. He was not going to let him beat him going to the left. He beat him to the spot, which the Nets have been doing beautifully in this second half, actually all game.
Tim Duncan, will he get a touch here? He does with Collins on him. They double him, and Parker will take the outside jumper and knock it down. Tony Parker's first basket of the quarter. 10 points for the game. San Antonio edging back to within a dozen.
Jason Kidd is just blasting by everybody right now. Every time he goes to the hoop, they're having to grab him. That time, the whistle on Ginobili.
If you're the Nets, this is a very important 2.5 minutes. You've worked hard to build this lead up to 13 points, sitting right now at 12 points. You don't want to let it slip back down to 6-5 points and let San Antonio have the momentum.
I like what Stuart Scott said. Go for the kill right at the start of the third.
That one way off the mark, and Kidd again got his own miss. Rogers for 3. What a rebound by Martin.
What a pass.
And here comes Ginobili trying to steal it from Kidd from behind again. Rogers has it poked out of his hands, out of bounds.
This is what the Nets dreamed of having Ginobili or Bowen guard Jason Kidd. That's going to cause all kinds of problems in the transition game.
Kidd weaves through everybody and score.
Oh, no.
The bench for New Jersey cannot believe it. They have seen this guy every single day. He is putting on a historical level performance.
8 for the quarter, 17 for the game for Jason Kidd. Parker, his outside jumper's off the mark. And out of bounds to the Spurs.
We see that crossover again. Here we go. Watch this. He didn't even cross over. He did it all with his left hand.
That's the move.
All with his left.
Ginobili used on the Lakers.
They were even like, oh my.
Ginobili now on a fade in the lane, and he knocks down his first field goal.
I just get the ball to Jason Kidd, let him create,
clear out.
He's out of his body right now, just doing everything. Going wherever he wants to go and getting the spots he wants to get to.
That's what great players do. You have a stinker of a game, you come back with your best the next time out.
He said he would, and he has delivered on the promise, for sure.
Shot clock.
At 2, Collins has to let it go. And it's a shot clock violation. Didn't get to the rim with 1:06 remaining in the third.
Rodney Rogers had no idea that the shot clock was about to expire.
Byron Scott takes Kenyon Martin out in the final 1:06 here, so he doesn't pick up his 5th foul. Brings Jefferson in. So Jefferson, Collins, Kittles, Rogers, and Kidd on the floor for the Nets. And here comes Tony Parker with a minute remaining, third quarter. Try to get it to Tim Duncan. They finally do, and he lays it in.
Well, good job of throwing it back out to the top of the key, and instead of swinging it to the opposite side, letting Duncan repost and then jamming it right back into him quickly before the Nets can get back over and redouble team him.
Lead has slid down to 10. 10 on the shot clock.
2 for 1. Got to go quick.
Rogers with 4 on the clock. Off the glass. Tough shot by Rodney Rogers.
Something about those Wake Forest guys shooting that bank shot.
They were taught well in Winston-Salem.
Jerry Wainwright, the assistant coach, that taught the bank shot there. Remember, the backboard is your friend.
4-second difference on the game clock and the shot clock as you see it in the corner of your screen. 12-point New Jersey lead. San Antonio trying to cut into it before the end of the quarter. Parker got Kidd up in the air and scored. Kidd has some time. No foul call. Threw it out. He was looking for a foul from Ginobili. Didn't get it.
Nets need a good defensive stop right here. Don't get casual. Don't let this crowd go crazy during the quarter break.
10-point game. It can become. Whoa. That was right over us. I'm glad the guy there in the good seats got a hand on it. Or one of us would have gotten a head on it.
Sherwin and his children, Nicole and Andrew, sitting right there courtside. Arguably one of the worst inbounds passes in the history of the NBA.
I thought Tolbert was going to get a shot, though. I thought Tom had a shot at it.
Tom was bailing.
I could have given. Oh, absolutely. I was out of here.
So now it goes back to the Nets, and they've got 2 seconds. 20-second timeout taken. As instead of San Antonio getting an opportunity to maybe make it a single-digit game, the Nets now have an opportunity instead to stretch it back to 12 or 13. Vote for the NBA Finals MVP. Brought to you by Verizon Wireless.
I'm assuming Malik Rose never
wasn't a quarterback. I don't think so.
Unless he was an option quarterback.
That could have been an option.
I saw a lot of those balls thrown Nebraska the past few years. You look at what Duncan was able to do in the first game as opposed to the second game. Now, this is amazing. 18 less points, one less shot. I mean, that's how dominant he was in the first game.
San Antonio has a foul to give here with 2 seconds remaining in the quarter. Kidd finally does get it in. Rogers almost scored. So close. Excellent quarter for the New Jersey Nets. They are 12 minutes away from going back home with the series tied at a game apiece. This ABC Sports presentation of the NBA will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit.
The The sights and emotion of the NBA Finals here on ABC Sports Game 2. Here's how the scoring looks through 3 quarters. The Spurs actually shot all right from the field, but they turned the ball over so many times it didn't matter. 60% from the floor, but 8 turnovers. And Jason Kidd suddenly became Jason Kidd in the 3rd quarter. 8 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists.
Well, I think the biggest thing so far, plus 20 field goal attempts. 67 field goal attempts for New Jersey, only 47 for San Antonio. New Jersey's plus 7 on the offensive boards and plus 7 in the turnover department.
Michelle Tafoya at the start of the game said this might be the last game ever played in San Antonio by David Robinson. Little did she or anybody else in this building at that point think it would be under these conditions.
Rodney Rogers a miss. Malik Rose with a rebound. Tony Parker looking to push it. Pushes it all the way and kicks it out. Ginobili now. Jackson got it. Jackson's second 3 of the night. Just like that. 10 becomes 7.
Now you've got to have the competitive response from the Nets here. Mutombo, Rogers, establish your dominance in the paint.
Rogers had it stripped. And they're going to say it's a foul on Tim Duncan.
Well, they got it off the break. Penetration, swing, kick. Those are the type of shots you can get wide open looks if you push it down quickly.
That last foul was not on Duncan. It was on Malik Rose.
It's difficult to read Tony Parker in transition defense. Some guys you can just assume they're going to come in and try to pass that ball. Tony Parker is always a player who's looking to put that ball up. He had 2 defenders right on him, wisely laid it off.
Rodney Rogers, who had 11 points the other night in 21 minutes of work, has 7 off the Nets bench tonight.
In this series, Rodney Rogers should be the unstoppable force for New Jersey off the bench.
Spurs trying to fight back into control, trying to get a second win. Nets trying to even it at a game apiece with 11 minutes left as Duncan drives.
They're going to count that one, aren't they? No?
Mutombo with the foul.
Tim Duncan in game 1, getting a lecture here at the free throw line from Steven Jackson.
Hey, good job.
Hit the ball on the way up there.
I think you're right. I thought it hit the backboard, but it hit after.
Tim Duncan hasn't hit a free throw tonight in his 4 trips. There he rips that one. Maybe it was the wrong end of the court before.
That game 1 performance by Tim Duncan, 32 and 20, was only the 8th time in the last 20 years that a player in the NBA Finals had 20-plus points and rebounds in an NBA Finals game.
Duncan hits them both, 68-61. We've got under 11 minutes to go in Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Jason Kidd with the drive, and he's fouled.
The Nets wisely are going to the hoop. They are not settling for the perimeter game. Rodney Rogers, Jason Kidd, you get Kenyon Martin back in there. Richard Jefferson and Lucious have to feed off the veteran leadership here.
Jason Kidd, 18 points on the night.
Well, I think Kidd's aggressiveness rubbed off on everybody else. He started getting aggressive midway to the 3rd, and everybody followed suit.
I go back farther. Dikembe Mutombo. When that guy came in, changed the whole tenor of the game. Said, I'm willing to fight for that ball underneath the boards.
Tim Duncan goes out with his 3rd foul as Kidd trying to deliver the second free throw. Mutombo gets the rebound. So it's a fresh clock.
He's calling for it here.
Oh. Look out for the elbows. Jackson punches it away from Jefferson.
Well, 15 offensive rebounds, and that's where they're getting their extra shots. Not turning the ball over, the Spurs are. They're getting offensive rebounds, the Spurs aren't.
10 on the shot clock, 10 and a half to play in the quarter. Ginobili overplaying Harris, almost came up with a steal, but it's the Nets ball with 6 on the shot clock. 69-61, New Jersey. Parker right on Kidd. Kidd will take the deep 3. Got it! Jason Kidd over Parker from way outside. And it's 72-61. And as we approach 10 minutes, the Nets, who were swept a year ago, beaten badly on Wednesday. This is the most important 10 minutes probably in the franchise history right here if they can get this win on the road.
Rodney. Rogers, the little things. You got to take care of that defensive board.
Jackson dishing underneath, and Rose with a bucket.
You don't always have to set up for the jump shot on the swing, because you know defenders are going to be flying at you. Show the ball and go.
This is where the home crowd starts pushing and giving their favorites all the energy they need.
Rogers for three. And the rebound is Jackson, and he's got Rose out in front. As Rose did in game one on a break, ignites the crowd again. 72-65. Ginobili trying to come up with a steal. He did. .17 remaining.
New Jersey has to push themselves through the fatigue.
Jackson, and whistle before the shot that goes in, and most people in here, including yours truly, didn't hear the whistle.
There's not a person sitting in the entire arena.
And great look ahead by Steven Jackson. Led him beautifully, and Duncan going nuts on the bench. But then they just lost their heads the last possession. Someone's got to come back and help out Jason Kidd and down the ball.
Parker, the dish underneath, and now the ball loose, and Jefferson comes up with a steal.
Find a guard.
Jefferson leaves it for Kidd on the lay-in. And the Spurs turnover problems continue to haunt him, and that one turned into a transition bucket, and now it's back to 9.
Popovich cannot believe what he's seeing. How long is he going to leave Tim Duncan on that bench over there?
Parker got away from Kidd momentarily, and he dropped it in. 14 for Tony.
Jason's running. Who's coming with him?
Nobody can catch him on either team. Parker did cut him off momentarily. 23 in the game for Jason Kidd. Whoa. Tony Parker got it right in the throat.
Mutombo's relentless pursuit of the ball. No. Delaney is waving this off and calling a loose ball foul.
And a timeout. With 8:15 remaining in the ball game, Nets hanging on to the lead on the road.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the NBA.
The seal of approval for any professional athlete is to be linked to a championship. Watching all the past champions, as a kid, that's what, you wanted to do. From Michael Jordan to Larry Bird to Dr. J, and hopefully I can follow in that category. Jason Kidd, point guard, New Jersey Nets.
Well, he gets our seal of approval tonight after the 4 for 17 misery of Wednesday. It's a 23-point to lead all scorer night so far for Jason Kidd. And he has led his Nets to within 8:15 of going back to the Meadowlands, even at a game apiece.
How many shots can the Spurs get up in the last 8:15? You want to talk about a statistical anomaly? They're shooting 50% at home, and they're down 7.
But the 18 turnovers that they have given the Nets a 20-shot advantage in field goal attempts.
Tony Parker hit that last shot like that. This time he gets it back.
Get on the floor if you're the Nets.
Duncan wants it against Mutombo.
Well, Mutombo figured he'd already done it once this series.
Duncan, tough shot, rebound by Jason Kidd.
Mutombo has had such a stamp on this game. The numbers are not going to be there, but he is in on every play at the basket area.
Sets a pick for Kidd. 4 on the shot clock. Jefferson's going to have to be the guy to take it before the buzzer again, and missed it. Duncan, the outlet to Jackson.
No numbers there. You got to hold up.
New Jersey's offense looks tired.
Robinson out to Ginobili. He gets a clean 3, and Harris pulls off the miss.
Well, you can't ask for any better than that.
Nope.
You get a wide open 3. especially the way he's been shooting the playoffs.
But to win on the road under these conditions, you've got to have a player right now who just takes over offensively. Says, give me the ball and ride me all the way to this victory.
Harris, who was a spark in the second quarter. And he'll take the shot because the shot clock was winding down, and he just lit it up again.
Delaney right on the call, saying it's a 2.
10 points for Lucious Harris.
Popovich can just throw up his arms in disgust.
San Antonio's push is going to have to come pretty soon, or it's not going to be soon enough. Parker blocked by Mutombo. Now it's Jackson. He's had the 3-hand going tonight. 3 in this half. The lead's down to 6 again.
When your shot blocker pokes one away, your little guys have got to react. They have to anticipate that's going to happen.
Just over 6 minutes left. Again, the shot clock winding down. Jefferson misses. Duncan clears it. Spurs can make it a 4-point game if they score. Duncan thought about it. Robinson, baseline, blocked by Mutombo again. Martin to Jefferson, and Jefferson's got it.
Boy, and he get out on the fast break. Defense, great block shot by Mutombo, and then quick, get it up there, and an easy layup. Defense been the key to the Nets tonight.
Kenyon Martin playing a solid ball game. The numbers aren't there to match game 1.
Inside block shot, but a foul on Jefferson.
We're seeing a determined New Jersey Net team right now. They believe that they're going to win this thing, not only this game, but the big picture as well.
And their elder statesman doing his job on the defense. 3 block shots for the big fella. The Nets clinging to the lead with 5:23 to play here on the road.
The NBA Finals on ABC, brought to you by Toyota. Get the feeling. Miller Lite. Tell it over a great-tasting, less-filling Miller Lite. It's Miller time. And Las Vegas. There's only one entertainment capital of the world. Only Vegas.
Dikembe Mutombo, who's played much more tonight and has had an impact on this game without a doubt with his defense. 3 block shots. Some of that leading to some outlets and some breakaway points. And they're battling David Robinson. Let's check in with Stuart Scott as you look at the comparison.
Brad, the Nets coaches had considered taking Dikembe Mutombo out right now at this time out, but they were convinced by several of the players, leave him in. They obviously like his energy, so they want to leave him in the game.
Seems to be that his teammates are feeding off that energy. And Parker hits the free throw. Tony has another 15-point night as Tony sets for his second free throw. And the ball comes free to Jason Kidd.
Such a tireless worker, Dikembe Mutombo, who has a career average totals more than 40 minutes per game over his illustrious career. Now just a spot player.
Outside shot doesn't go. Robinson the rebound. Tony Parker looking to push it. Parker right by everybody, but swatted out of there by Martin. Duncan again with Mutombo on it. Jump hook by Duncan. Tough shot.
Well, as good as Mutombo is, he still can't guard Tim Duncan out of the block. And I know Byron Scott, when they take the first dribble, they want to come just a little late that time.
There's no way that TD could even see the basket under the defensive pressure of Mutombo that time. That's how good Tim Duncan is.
Jackson and Robinson double team Martin, and he's short-armed one to the basket. Ginobili comes out of the pile. Spurs with numbers. Parker, and he takes a little jump hook. What once was 15 is down to 3. First it was Tim Duncan with his little jump hook. or maybe I should say a big jump hook. And then it was Tony Parker. This would be considered a little jump hook. They both went in. It's a three-point ball game. The SBC Center is literally rocking on its foundation during that timeout. At one point, the Nets led in the second half, 62-47. Up by 15. That lead's been cut down to 3 as we approach 4 minutes.
Who's got the offensive force that can score in the half court against a dug-in set defense?
Harris cuts through the lane, leaves it for Kenyon Martin. Nice play.
Lucious Harris down the stretch, finishing for Kerry. Kittles now on the bench. Both of them playing very well tonight.
Tony Parker gets a pick from Robinson. Now it's Duncan. And a foul on Collins.
Well, they elected Byron Scott, elected to take Mutombo out of the game with Collins on him. You know when Duncan gets the ball down low, they're coming.
You know, Mutombo played 20 minutes. That's the most he's played, guys, since Thanksgiving.
He does not get tired. This guy is ageless, never fatigues or wears down.
Missed free throw. Don't forget, Sunday night, Hillary Rodham Clinton, Barbara Walters. Nothing's off limits for those two. For the first time, Hillary talks about everything. It's the interview everyone's already talking about and will be after Sunday night, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 10 Pacific, 9 Mountain on ABC. Tim Duncan goes back to what happened to him early in the ball game, misses a couple of free throws.
Well, they've done a good job getting to the line. They're plus 13 at the line, but they've only got five more points at the line. You got to make your free throws.
Kenyon Martin's got Steven Jackson on him. They've got to get him the ball.
Ginobili picks up the foul. That's his third. Duncan 2 for 8 from the free throw line. That's got to drive Greg Popovich crazy. They knew coming in they were 26th in the league this year, the regular season, from the stripe. But there's the disappointing right-hand column that could be the difference in the ball game. It's a 5-point game, 80-75. Getting down to 3:15 remaining.
Based on what the Spurs have done in the playoffs, they may have right where they want them.
Could be. They had the big comeback against Dallas in the fourth quarter. Duncan blocks the shot and takes it right away.
Kenyon Martin has got to go right the next time he gets the ball. That angle is wide open for a throwdown.
Parker lobs it to Duncan. Tough catch. And he ran out of real estate.
Wonderful defense by the Nets, collapsing, forcing Duncan behind the board.
Got to help him. Boy.
No place to go. Turnover once again.
2:45 left. Kidd on the dribble. Oh, what a pass, but Jefferson couldn't handle it. Jackson steals it. The dish to Robinson. Down to 3 again. Kidd will try to quiet the crowd, but the shot is partially blocked. Tony Parker, the teardrop. Got it! Jefferson, a collision with Robinson. The wheels are wobbling a little for New Jersey.
Well, if the Spurs get the lead here, you got to call a timeout.
Last time the Spurs led was 22-21 with 11:23 remaining in the half. And jump ball.
I would have called the timeout when they still had the lead, New Jersey, and settle things down. For the first
92
time,
seconds left.
For the first time ever, I've seen Jason Kidd tired on the court.
He has played brilliantly tonight, and he's run himself ragged, as all these guys have, I guess.
Well, if you're Jackson and Ginobili, you got to box out if Duncan hits it right in that little crease.
Martin and Duncan to jump. Taps controlled by New Jersey.
Martin got that ball. He out-quicked him.
So here's the Nets now clinging to a 1-point lead. 1:20 to play. Trying to tie the series at a game apiece. Kidd, tough shot off the glass. 82-79. 25 for Jason Kidd. Timeout San Antonio.
Are you kidding me?
That is an "are you kidding me" shot if there ever was one.
A game of quintessential, a game of mental competition. It's been Kenyon Martin and Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd not looking tired on that one. 1:11 left. He's given his team a 3-point lead. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, stay tuned for your late local news, followed by Nightline and Jimmy Kimmel Live. Jimmy, I don't know if we paid him twice today. He worked with us at halftime. NBA Finals, this is Game 2. There's 1:11 remaining from the SBC Center. The Nets with a 3-point lead. There's the timeout situation. Spurs have a foul to give. Spurs haven't led since the first quarter, trailing by 3, trying to go up 2 games to none. The Nets obviously don't want to let that happen.
Come to Tim Duncan early in the shot clock.
Instead, it's the other 7-footer Robinson. He lost the handle, and the Spurs have their 21st turnover.
Wow. 2 surprises. Well, one surprise, they go to Robinson. One not surprised, they turn it over.
Now Jason Kidd trying to use a little clock here.
With the MVP, you don't let him get you back into it. What's going on here?
Kidd, turnaround jumper. An air ball. Duncan pulls it out of the pile. Here comes Steven Jackson.
Jason Collins late getting back in transition. He dove for that ball.
Now Duncan touches it. And off the board, he missed it. Ginobili got his own miss. Time down to 25 seconds. Duncan, this time he's fouled.
Well, tremendous foul by New Jersey.
And New Jersey kept them from scoring early. So now, doesn't matter if you make 2 or not, with the shot clock, you have to foul.
Our Toyota game track. We're coming to the end of the track. Jason Kidd, a 25-point night. Kenyon Martin with 14. San Antonio, 22 turnovers. Tim Duncan with 18, trying to make it 20. And he's had trouble all night from the foul line, and it continues.
But 2 for 9.
Spurs only 3 for 7 from the line here in the fourth quarter. And there's the 2 for 9 that Bill was talking about. Rose checks back in. Robinson will go out.
Now, if you're New Jersey, obviously you have to rebound a potential miss here, but you got to inbound the ball, and you got to get the ball to free throw shooters.
2-point game as Duncan finally got a free throw to drop for him. Now Jason Kidd being chased by Ginobili. And Ginobili fouls him as quickly as he could have. 2 hours before the game, here's Tim Duncan shooting free throws and not really having any more success than he has when he took the warm-up off. 5:30 local time in San Antonio. Tim working on the part of his game that is really giving him trouble.
Yeah. You got to try to keep it out of Kidd's hands here. 81% free throw shooter during the playoffs. You may want to try to double him and make somebody else catch it and then foul them immediately.
Kenyon Martin will be the inbound man. He's got to come out back near midcourt where Bob Delaney's holding on to it.
Somebody should set a screen and then burst to the ball. That'll be the guy that'll be the easy reception.
Trying to get it to Jason Kidd, and they do, and they got 2 guys in the backcourt trying to get to him. Tony Parker does. He's tough just to catch the foul.
He seems to have found a second wind.
Just when you called him tired, he kind of lit it up, didn't he? And that's when you're the president, GM, you can't even bear to watch sometimes.
And his team is winning.
That's right. Think of how it feels on the other side. Jason Kidd at the line. 1 for 2 tonight. 2 for 3 tonight. Big one there. This one's even bigger.
New Jersey still has 2 timeouts. Spurs just with 1.
Yamada and TJ, his son, looking on as Jason Kidd just threw that ball back to Dan Crawford when the substitution was made, and he got completely out of the free throw circle and wanted to just forget about it and then settle back in. And he has. And let's see how he does with the second with just under 20 seconds remaining. Got them both.
Pressure's off. Make him use time to score and then get it back to Jason Kidd.
Parker in deep, trying to get a shot up, and he got it up and in.
Get the ball quickly to Kidd or Lucious Harris.
Oh boy, they're just letting the guy who shoots the best in the postseason for this team catch the ball. Other than Jason Collins wasn't taking that many free throws.
Tony Parker, this one looked like it was going to be short of impossible.
He's got a tremendous low post game, Tony Parker. Yeah. The New Jersey Nets have been the best in the postseason at fourth quarter finishes. They have outscored their opponents by more per quarter than any other squad in the entire playoffs this year.
And Jason Kidd's just trying to drill bit the Spurs right here.
A tremendous testament to their level of physical fitness, determination, and commitment to the team. And
he
the
got them both
leadership
again
of Jason Kidd.
And now the Nets are in good shape. 86-82, 11.8 left. Jason Kidd with the bad night on Wednesday, and boy, has he come back like the all-star that he is tonight. And you can see the exhale when he finally got over there as if to say, I got them both.
For New Jersey, the only time you foul under this circumstance is if Tim Duncan gets the ball. Let anybody else shoot it.
Here's our schedule. We're going to head to Continental Airlines Arena, all of us, for Sunday's game at 8 o'clock. New Jersey gets the middle 3. San Antonio the last 2 if it goes 7. In the 2-3-2 format since it came into play, nobody has won the middle 3 at home. But it looks like New Jersey's going to even things up and take it home 1-1. Local news coming up. Nightline and then Jimmy Kimmel Live. All that except on the West Coast.
The road team has won the middle 3 games before when Detroit beat Portland.
11.8 left here as we go upstairs to Mike Tirico.
All right, Brad, thanks. Coach, take me into the San Antonio huddle. If you're Greg Popovich, what are you looking for here?
You got to take a quick 2, and you got to foul right away. Quick, power up, make the quick 2. There's enough time on the clock. You don't have to shoot the 3.
So on the Nets?
Well, if one of those guys gets me in a bad way, Duncan Robinson, I'm putting him on the free throw line, and I'm making sure that kid gets the ball in the inbounds play. He just hit 4 in a row.
Nets this close to doing something they've never done, winning a game in the NBA Finals. Back to you, Brad.
So much talk about their 10-game playoff winning streak coming in, and then it all just went out the window Wednesday, and everybody said they've lost 5 in a row in the finals. And that giant monkey became King Kong size on the Nets' shoulders, but now they're just 12 seconds away from shedding it and evening the series at a game apiece.
Well, I think down 4 with 11 seconds left, you got to try to look for a 3 in this situation.
And that's why Popovich has come with Steve Kerr.
And Jackson will take the 3, and he got it!
They got a foul immediately.
Jackson has hit 4 threes in this second half.
But nobody knew where Jason Kidd was as the ball was coming through the net. And the Nets did an outstanding job of quickly getting that ball inbounds. Kidd was on the move immediately.
Well, that was a complete breakdown in defense right there. David Robinson setting a nice pick on Lucious Harris. But as a defense, you got to know that's what they're looking for.
See if Jason Kidd can make it 5 straight from the line. That one's not on the mark. The door is left open.
No timeouts for San Antonio.
Jason Kidd, second of 2. Got the second, but the Spurs have a chance. Tony Parker running it up court. Parker to Jackson. Might be a winner. In and out. Robinson, and the Nets have survived it. They won it. They win it on the road. 86-82. 87-85, and it's going back to the Meadowlands at a game apiece. Jackson got a pretty good look. Robinson tried to scramble for the rebound. Couldn't find the handle in time. They didn't get another attempt. And Jason Kidd and company have done it. Finally a win, and here's the final seconds. Tony Parker had a pretty wide open court, got the pass. There's Jackson, who's been hot from three-point land all night. This one in, out. The rebound was loose. No time left for a second attempt for San Antonio.
Well, I thought Tony Parker was going to dribble a little bit closer, try to get to the lane. But Jackson with a good look. You know, it's tough sometimes as a shooter. You see that guy flying out of the corner of your eye, and that distracts you just enough to make you miss it.
And Byron Scott, who said over the course of the last 48 hours, we just didn't play hard enough. We're not going to change a bunch of strategy. Although they did change some strategy tonight, they do get the win. Let's go to Stuart Scott. Stu.
Jason, pregame, to a man, all the Nets were convinced they were going to win tonight. What made you all so confident considering how you got beaten game one?
Well, I think our confidence is one thing that nobody can take from us. And if you're going to be good in this league, you got to be confident. And so we felt we didn't play our best basketball in game one, and our job was to try to win 1 out of 2, and we did that.
Your first game in game one, you shot 4 of 17. You came back with 30 points this game. Your coach, Byron Scott, told us he didn't say a word to you about your performance in game one. Why didn't he have to?
Well, I think the respect, Coach knows. I think my whole teammates, they didn't say anything about my performance in game one because I knew it was terrible, and I need to step up, and I got to do this for my teammates, and I came out aggressive, let the game come to me instead of trying to force things.
All right, good luck, congratulations. Going back to New Jersey, tied at a game apiece. The New Jersey Nets finally win an NBA Finals game, 1 in the last 6. Let's go back to you, Brad.
He wasn't kidding around tonight, was he? 30 points, 13 in the fourth quarter. He scored the final 7 points of the night for the Nets. And as Stu said, we're dead even at a game apiece. The drama built. So did the lead for the Nets, but the Spurs battled back. They couldn't battle back far enough. 1-1 through 2 games of the NBA Finals, 87-85. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Keyword ABC Sports. Game 3, Sunday, 8 o'clock. Join us on Sunday. Stay tuned for your local news, followed by Nightline and Jimmy Kimmel Live. Now for the whole crew from San Antonio, Brad Nessler. See you Sunday.